Welcome in this video, where we're going to review the architectural backbone of Stable Diffusion 3. So yeah, they developed a block, it was kind of novel from the paper, that they call the MMDiT block. And basically they process the context on one end. So basically the context is the text prompt. Maybe we can have a look at the left figure in a moment. So yeah, they process the text context. And then on the other side, with the signal, so X, so basically the signal that you are denoising, so basically the noise that will be turned into the image. So basically each of those signals are processed with independent branches, and then in the middle they are merged. Well, they are merged, and there is an attention mechanism where the keys, queries, and values are merged. And then there is this post-attention branch, again, that are independent again after the attention, on each signal is processed independently. So basically the context conditioning is modified through the network just as the signal. So yeah, that's different from a diffusion model, for example, Stable Diffusion 1 or Stable Diffusion 2, where we condition on the text with cross-attention. Here it's really a novel mechanism. Maybe we can have a quick look at this overview. Maybe it's not the most important. So basically first the caption is processed with 3 different tokenizers on text embedding instead of just one. So on one side we have clip J, clip large on T5 from Google. So basically all of them produce tokens, and then the tokens are combined to generate this this conditioning C. So on one side we have C, so C is just the text conditioning. On the other side we have X, which is the noisy latent that is progressively denoised. On here we have a third component, Y. So basically Y is a combination of the text tokens, not from all the tokenizers, just from, I think just from clip J, and then we also have the time step. So Y contains information about the prompt on the time step, C is just information about the text prompt, and X is the signal. So basically, yeah, let's have a look at this, and maybe let's have a look at the implementation. So basically we can implement this MMDiT block as a joint block. So basically here you can see we have the joint block. We receive as input X, so X is the the signal. CTX here it's what we call Y here. So basically the combination of the text and the time step embedding. And finally with C, so C is the prompt embedding. So basically you can see we have 2 blocks. So we have on one side a context block, as the name suggests, for the context, for the conditioning on the text prompt, and with X block, the X block. So yeah, basically this is if I was able to draw on this. So basically on one side here, what I'm highlighting here, that's what we call the context block, on the right with the X block. Okay, so basically here we first need to do those operations. So first there is a module that will turn Y into 6 values, so with alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, and eta. We do the same here, here on the X block as well. Okay, so we create those values, and then there will be some modulation. Basically a combination of layer normalization, some modulation, some linear layer, and that so that each branch will predict the keys, queries, and values for our attention mechanism. Okay, so the 2 independent branches produce the key, queries, and values. So basically then we can concatenate them. Basically I will do a single attention, I will compute the attention mechanism on the combination of them. So we do here the concatenation. That's what I'm doing with this for loop. And then I'm feeding all of that to the attention mechanism. Then I can split the results of the attention mechanism. On one side with the values that will be fed to the X branch, and on the other side with the values that will be fed to the conditioning branch. Okay, so basically here what we are doing with line 202 and 203, we are just doing this splitting. After my attention mechanism, some of the features will go to the conditioning branch, and some others will go to the X branch. Okay, And then we can run the remaining part of both branches. So basically that's what we do here. So basically this part, we we compute the new context. So we update the features that represent the conditioning. So this is all of that. So basically the bottom left, we update the context. And then the line 206, we modify the signal X with this branch bottom right. Okay, great. So maybe we can have a deeper look inside those blocks. So maybe we can have a look at the X block. So you can see that with the ADA-LN modulation, we can maybe have a look at how it's initialized. So if I have a look at this function, make ADA-LN modulation, we can see that we have a CLU activation function followed by a linear layer, okay? That's exactly what is described here in the paper. That produces some values that will be used for the modulation and for the scaling and for the shifting, okay? So if I go back to my block, and by the way, all of this code was developed from scratch in my course on Rectified Flow on Stable Diffusion 3, where we implement Stable Diffusion 3 from scratch. I will put the link in the description, should you be interested. I will also put the link of my newsletter on Rectified Flow on Generative AI. You can subscribe, it's free. Okay, so with the ADA-LN modulation, that will produce that when we feed the signal to it, will produce all those parameters, alpha, beta, gamma, and so on and so forth. Then with a layer norm, so basically we with here ADA layer norm, with a linear layer on with the attention mechanism. Let me double check here how it's used. Okay, maybe I'm going to come back to that later. Okay, so yeah, with the attention mechanism, I'm just double checking when we use it, because yeah, I developed this code a while ago. But okay, let's go back to it. So yeah, if we have a look at the fourth pass, so first we create the 6 values that you mentioned, alpha, gamma, beta again. So with the ADA modulation layer. Then we can create the hidden feature by feeding it first to the layer norm. Okay, ADA layer norm. And then we can create the key queries and values by using, okay, now I get it. So basically with this attention model, so basically we're not doing any attention here in this part, nor in this part, but basically all of that, basically we're not doing the attention, computing, for example, the attention rates, on doing the weighted sum of the values. But basically here we need all the components of the attention mechanism. So for example, we have the linear layer that will create the query, the keys and the values. On here we'll need to do the post attention. So basically what we have the attention mechanism. And basically that's here in this attention module that we have this. If I go back to it, let me find the class. Okay, here. Basically, here we can see that all those linear layers on all those RMS norm, these are the ones we see here. Okay, so this linear layer on those one, basically they are hidden in our attention class. So basically here we will call the pre-attention function, okay, to do all of that. So to feed the signal to the linear layer, and then to use the activation functions and to create the key queries and values. And then we can feed that to the joint block for doing the attention. So if I recap, first we create the 6 values, then we go to the layer normalization, then we apply the pre-attention to get the key query keys and values, and then we can return that, and it will be the joint block will do the attention by concatenating the features from both branches. On basically the X block, it's really similar to the context block. You can see from the sketch that they're very similar. So yeah, we do something very similar. We create the 6 values, linear normalization pre-attention. So that was the upper part of the graph. Then there is the bottom part. So basically for the bottom part, it's really similar. First we do the post-attention. Again, this linear layer, it's hidden in the attention class, okay? So we can call the post-attention to call this linear layer. And then we can do the all those steps. So basically there is a multiplication with gamma. There is a shift with the signal itself, a kind of shortcut connection. Okay, so basically that's what we do here. We have on one side a shortcut connection, and with the multiplication with gamma. Okay, and then there is the there is this operation. We apply the layer normalization, the modulation with delta on epsilon, and there is a final MLP. The final MLP recreated here. Okay. So again, there are a few modules that are hidden in the attention class. So basically, this linear layer on the error mesh norm. Okay, so I really hope this video was helpful to you. Again, here it's diving into the architectural backbone of Stable Diffusion 3. You can see that all this code is taking 300 lines of code. And in 300 lines of code, we have the full Stable Diffusion 3 architecture. If you download the weights from the from Stability AI, then you can load them in this code and it will work fine. In upcoming videos, we're going to build on top of that. We're going to implement the sampling process so that with your own code in PyTorch, you can just generate images that look as nice as the one you can get from the official code from Stable Diffusion 3. Again, all of this code is coming from my course on Stable Diffusion 3 on Rectified Flow. If you're interested, the link is in the description. Thank you.